A lot of what you see on TV and different shows and stuff, that's not the reality of fitness. The reality of fitness is not a glamour show. It's not some competition. It's your personal journey. And in your personal journey, wherever you're starting is good enough. You don't need to be some super athlete or try to become the next superstar or whatever. Like, just start where you're at. And wherever that is okay.
Welcome to yourbrilliance.com. I'm your host, Amy Waterman. So when you think of fitness, do you think of treadmills and clanking weights and that smell of sweat covered up by cleaning spray? It used to be that if you wanted to work out, you had to go to a gym. You didn't really have any other options. And gyms weren't always the nicest place to be, especially if it was a sunny day outside. Luckily, the future of fitness is here with nothing more than the smartphone in your hand. You can get a customized workout anywhere in the world, whether it's at the beach, in the mountains, or in that 45 minutes in between picking up the kids. Today's guest has 18 years in the fitness and wellness industry. And in that time, he's seen a lot of change, but nothing compared to what's coming up next. You're about to learn about some of the incredible technologies set to transform your workout. And here's a surprising hint: it doesn't involve a Fitbit. Dr. Darian Parker is a certified personal trainer with a PhD in sports education leadership and a master's in kinesiology. He's worked at upscale private fitness clubs and as national director of fitness for WTS International. His latest venture is Epic Leisure Management, which is redefining wellness at fitness centers across the country. Welcome, Dr. Parker.
Hi, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it, Amy.
So I want to know, what does the future of fitness look like?
I think the future of fitness is, as you said, it's not wearable technology. It's not Fitbits or Jawbones or things of that nature, which has become pretty popular. But a lot of the research shows that it just doesn't work. It's not making people fitter. It's not increasing their frequency of exercise. It's just increasing their frequency of different gadgets that they have in their home, things of that nature. So
that's crazy though. Like, most of my friends have Fitbits. They're like, look at this,
Sure.
I reached my 10,000 steps a day, or look at my heart rate. How, really, those actually don't work?
Yeah, I would say, are your friends regular exercisers?
Yes, they like
Right.
exercise.
So, of course. So those things are just reassuring people who are regular exercisers, but the majority of the population are not regular exercisers. And actually, some really interesting statistics show that less than 10% of people are actually exercising regularly, according to the recommendation. So on a large scale, it's not effective for most people. On a very tiny scale, for regular exercisers, it's just reinforcing their exercise behavior.
Okay, so I want to know about these other technologies that are out there.
Yeah, definitely. So I think fitness is almost in science fiction mode, in the sense that we're getting to the point where we're able to do a lot of cool things with technology, and in particular the live technology. Like what we're doing now with Zoom is being used for having online live training sessions, or whether it's through FaceTime or WhatsApp. And the great thing, these are free. They don't cost anything. But now you have other big companies get into it, like Peloton, Tonal, Mirror, where you can have live trainers or group exercise sessions for a fee with that. But I think what's interesting is some cost something, but some are just free. Like this, you can just use the technology if you're good at using it. So I think more people want to exercise, but they don't want to have to go to a gym and be inundated with, honestly, a bunch of people who are already fit, who are in there. And they say, hey, listen, I feel intimidated by being people who are more towards their finish line when I'm at my start line, or that I want to be in the comfort of my house, wherever I want to be, and I don't want to be judged. I would like to just do it on my own time for that, but I need the accountability, and accountability is incredibly important in fitness.
So you are a personal trainer who actually uses these technologies with your clients. Tell us a little bit about how you use technology as a trainer.
Yeah, so for probably 17 years, I trained people all in person. And then recently, when I moved to Washington State from Las Vegas, I just decided to change my life and live in a place that was more green, water centered, and just was better for my family. And I said, you know what I would like to do? I'd really like to move all my clients online to this live format, like what we're doing right now, and take them through their exercises. And the reception was very warm. Everybody decided to try it for the most part. And what I didn't anticipate is that it would be extremely popular. So now all of my clients are online. I don't train a single person in person, not because I don't want to, I just haven't tried to do it. But it's been it's been a lot easier for me to have a business where I could spend time with my family by doing it this way. And it works better for my clients as well.
So you were talking about the importance of accountability. So it seems like we've got 3 different ways of having a fitness program. We can do it ourselves, like just go out for a run, go out, do whatever we want. We can have technology, like, fitness DVDs were big, or we can get a personal trainer for that one-on-one guidance. Which one do you think works best?
I think personal trainers become much more common nowadays than they used to be. I mean, when I was coming up in the 90s with it, very few people had personal trainers. It was for kind of your wealthy elite. But now it's more common with like group training and decreasing of prices and things of that nature. But I also think that people are much more aware of their health and wellness. And you see human beings who are in their 50s, they do not look like they're in their 50s. They're taking care of themselves nutritionally, exercise-wise, sleep. They say, hey, this is possible. But I think it's not necessarily possible completely without guidance. I think obviously I'm a trainer, I'm biased. I think training is investing in your health and wellness is probably one of the better things you can invest in your life. I mean, there's many different things that a lot of people spend money on, but I mean, the quality of life is more important. I think, hiking, biking, all that stuff is good. I think that's unstructured exercise to me, and it's good, but it shouldn't be your only mode of exercise. I know it's not going to make a lot of people happy, me saying that, but the science behind it, we default to our kind of ancient mechanism, which is cardiovascular exercise, kind of our hunter-gathering mentality, where you are always moving to hunt things, to find things, for sustenance. So people revert back to that cardiovascular mentality. You go to any gym, most people are on the cardio machines, or they're doing something that is very simple for them to do that doesn't require a lot of knowledge, honestly. You just push the button and you go, type of thing. Using, I think, the technology is another good way for having accountability. But the literature is very clear on this. People who get structured guidance get better results than people who don't get it at all.
So then there's the other big question, which is, how do you find someone to work with? Because the thing is, you don't want a personal trainer who's going to be like a drill sergeant, do this. But then
nobody wants that.
You don't want somebody who's going to be like so fit, like got muscles popping out everywhere, and there you are, you can't even do a push-up, and it's embarrassing.
Yeah. I think it's changing, like how trainers look like on some level. I think when I was coming up, a lot of the trainers were your bodybuilder types. And so there's these big, huge dudes with huge muscles and, big spiky hair and all this, the bro guys making gains. I think a lot of trainers now, at least that I've seen, look much more like your average person. And they just like being active and being fit. So it's less intimidating. But I think educationally, for sure, is a big way. Look at your trainer's credentials. Most consumers don't even look at the letters behind the trainer's name and what that means. You can look that stuff up. We have Google, man. You can look up this stuff, and say, hey, what is the meaning of this certification? Is it a rigorous certification? I could tell you right now that like the NSCA, ACE, NASM, companies like that are more rigorous certifications. So you're going to get a better trainer from that too. Do they have good formal education? They understand the science behind it. 3, I think the other thing is does your trainer have a good personality? As much as you are buying a service, you're also interviewing, is it a compatible person? It's a lot like dating, getting a trainer. You're spending time with this person, telling a lot of intimate things. You want them to be somebody you would like to spend time with. And that's probably one of the more important things, aspect of that. And also experience does not equate itself with being a good trainer. That's another thing. The literature does not support like somebody like, listen, like me, I've been in the business a long time. Just because I've been in the business doesn't mean I'm a great trainer. That experience does not make a great trainer. It's really a lot of the personality and how they deal with other human beings. That's really critical. And some people just have that and some people don't.
Yeah, yeah. So let's go back to technology for a minute. There is you said earlier that it's kind of like science fiction, some of the technology that's coming out. Tell us about some of those kind of science fiction scenarios of the future.
I think the biggest one is at some point, I truly believe this, and I don't think anybody's really talking about it in the fitness space, but I'm very big into technology in terms of helping my businesses. I think holographic and virtual reality fitness. Well, people are talking about VR, wearing basically the headset, and that maybe, I think one day you'll be able to have your clients and say, hey, I'm going to meet you in Tahiti in this virtual reality space. We're going to meet there using this machine, and it'll look like we're actually there, and I'm training them on the beach. But I think there's people investing in the holographic technology where, I will show up in your house, but it'll be a holographic version of me taking you through your program for that. I don't think we're that far from that. I think we're a good 5 to 10 years away from that type of business.
Wow. So one of the interesting things about that is that still the technology is being used to bring people together. And I know one of the big things for you is the fact that we can't use technology to replace that human interaction. So what are some of the things in fitness that aren't going to change, that aren't going to look sci-fi in the future, that are going to look the same as they do now?
I mean, I think there'll still be, like some people say, oh, it's going to kill big gyms or people aren't going to go to the gym much. I don't think that's true. I think there'll still be big gyms. There'll still be boutique gyms. It's just it's like an arm growing out of a branch, the branch out of the tree. It's like another branch coming out of the tree. It's just a virtual branch. And for some people, they'll go, yeah, I don't want to go to a big gym anymore. I just want to be able to have this option. But I still think the human part's going to be really important. I heard a speaker one time say that, the technology like AI personal trainers are going to take over and there'll be no need for like human trainers. I don't believe that's true. I mean, AI trainer is not going to understand that your baby's crying in the background and you're like, oh yeah, I know what that's like. I've had a toddler, type of thing. And there's nuanced behavior to be a human being that AI will not be able to do. Plus, I think that is very premature because most, that level of AI is far away. But current AI is really more of like, kiosks or building cars, and they're very rudimentary. And though there are AI that can beat a human in chess and stuff, that's a very pre-programmed set of behaviors. And outside of that, the AI is very stupid. It has no other real intellectual elements to that. So talking about sentience and self-aware computers, I think is too early for that. The human connection will always be extremely important in training because a computer is not going to know about you're having a bad day. It might go, oh, your blood pressure's up, or, these vital signs are different. That doesn't mean that it knows what you're thinking and how you're feeling and have that nuanced conversation with you.
I love that. And that's why wearable technologies can't replace personal trainers and coaches and that sort of thing. But so all these people who, are trying to get themselves to exercise more, they're among the 90% who aren't exercising enough. They buy the Fitbit to try and encourage them. Maybe that's not working. What would you suggest to those people to jumpstart their fitness if maybe, they don't want to get a personal trainer right away? The Fitbit isn't working. What should they do?
I think it's good to just, create community with it. Maybe it's, a lot of people start with group exercise because it's a lower cost option and you get a lot of community with it. And you're able to talk to other people who are kind of, going through the same thing you're going through. But I also think it's just a matter of looking at your budget. I don't think I've talked to anybody about this, but I think it's important to bring up so much. And I think your show is a good platform for it. I think you really need to look at what your spending habits are. You need to really look at it. and say, hey, people say, I can't afford a trainer. Okay, well, you should look at your budget. How much are you spending on Starbucks all the time? How much are you spending on shopping for clothes that you don't need, or buying a bunch of shoes you don't need? There's some things you could cut back on in order, and will those things really make you happy, or getting in better condition be better for you? It's really sitting down and saying, what are my finances, and what could I move around to make this happen? It's not as expensive as people make it out to be. Yeah, some places are. You can go to Equinox and pay $130 a session. That's out of most people's price range. But for a lot of trainers, they're not trying to make it super expensive for you. So do your research, look at your budget, see what you can physically maybe cut back on a little bit, and then add into for your training budget. And you'll be surprised what you can afford.
Yeah, and then the advantage of that is, of course, is as you get the body that you've always wanted, you don't need the Starbucks. You look awesome in all your clothes, and so it works out in the end.
Yeah, I mean, if you're buying new clothes all the time because your body type is changing regularly because of fluctuations in weight, that's costing you more than a trainer is costing you over time. Like if you were able to maintain, a body weight that's desirable for you, that's healthy for you, it's actually going to cost you less than if you're constantly revamping your wardrobe because of your body for that. So I don't think people look at it that way. They just go, oh, it's expensive. It costs this much an hour. Or the other misperception is that it's going to take up so much of my time. Well, listen, you know what? Most people, when they go, a lot of avid exercisers, to me, do it wrong. They go in the gym and they exercise for hours, 2-3 hours. I'm here to tell you that you do not need to do that. That is not necessary. Research does not support it. Literature does not support that. They're doing that because they just like it that much and they want to be around the gym all the time. It's not necessary. It's definitely not necessarily physiologically for that. So don't look at it as I have to spend hours, 10 hours a week in the gym. That's terrible. I don't do that. I'm very fit. I'm spending 3 hours a week in the gym, but there's a science behind that. I can't even imagine being in the gym super like 10 hours a week. That seems horrible to me.
So that is great. So 3 hours a week, I think probably anybody could do that.
Devote time to that, yeah.
So talk to us about, you've also got a gig at Epic Leisure Management. This is kind of your vision for fitness. Tell us a little bit about your role as a leader in the fitness industry.
Yeah, so my business partner and I, we started a company called Epic Leisure Management, and it's basically a consulting and management company for health and wellness amenities. So like your hotel, spas, fitness facilities, private residential fitness facilities, corporate fitness centers. And essentially for us, it's really our vision for the company is to be able to overall run these facilities, these health and wellness facilities, and provide, it's going to sound funny, a really love-centered approach to what we're doing. See, a lot of what people see in fitness centers, they see the beautiful, cardio equipment and the climbing wall and these beautiful locker rooms and all that, but they don't see how poorly the employees are being treated. You go to an Equinox, you see it's amazing there, but what you don't see is that the employees generally hate working there. And they're charging $130 and the trainer is making like $25 out of that. Or they have to hit these sales quotas constantly. You're selling things they don't believe in. We don't want to do that to people. We want to release you to be able to do the job you wanted to do, which is work with people, train people, teach tennis lessons, teach swim lessons, whatever that is, and be free from the constant micromanagement that happens in almost any profession. It doesn't have to be fitness, but really care about people first and foremost and recognize their humanity first and foremost. People say, oh, when you come to a job, leave your personal life behind. I think that's crap. I think you can't leave behind that you're a human being, that you got problems when you come to work. Yes, you should be professional, but part of today's employer's job is to recognize the humanity and the people that are working at those jobs and say, hey, I understand you're going through tough times and we do have to be professional, but let's talk about it. Let's be sensitive to it and recognize that if we don't face this head on, you're just going to explode at some point and you're going to be no good at this job. So we need to be good humans to each other in a job versus just productivity, productivity, productivity. You can't get good productivity out of people who are hurting and they don't have their things together. You need to focus on their social, emotional growth. And so that's a big part of us. And that's our motto is people first before work, people first.
That's fantastic. And you've also got a podcast, right?
I do. Yeah, it's called Dr. D's Social Network. And it's just a passion project for me that I love. I've been networking on LinkedIn for like 12 years. And I've always had these phone calls every week with people that are connections of mine. And I figured podcasting is a good venue that speaks to me because I speak to people all the time. And I figure I want to help other people get their businesses out there to others and share their stories. You know, sharing stories is what makes us human. I feel like our connected existence is really important. So I love having a platform to help other people share their existence with other human beings and saying, hey, they may be hurting, but guess what? You don't have to be alone in that hurt. Other people are hurting. Other people are experiencing joy. And listen to it on your way to work or listen to it, you know, at home, whatever, and feel connected to other human beings.
Oh, that's fantastic. Now, for those of you watching, if you would like to learn more about Dr. Parker and his podcast and his vision for the future of fitness, we have a link for you. Just go to yourbrilliance.org/fitness. That's yourbrilliance.org/fitness. Thank you, Dr. Parker, for coming on to the show. And I wondered if you had any last message you'd like to leave our viewers with.
I think the last message is that, especially with fitness, is a lot of what you see on TV and different shows and stuff, that's not the reality of fitness. The reality of fitness is not a glamour show. It's not some competition. It's your personal journey. And in your personal journey, wherever you're starting is good enough. You don't need to be some super athlete or try to become the next superstar or whatever. Like, just start where you're at. And wherever that is okay. And just build from there.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. And thank you out there for watching. We hope to see you again soon. Until then, let your brilliance shine.